Battery 100%. Connected to Bill's iPhone.
Hello?
Yeah, hold on a second. I already started. Hold on.
All right.
William, there.
I'm here.
All right, you merged in. So, William, I was just discussing that DJT is now almost $42.
Breakout.
And I've been saying that, Trump is not going to let this go away. It's free money for him. This is free GameStop money. He was worth he had $4 billion in family money and profit invested in DJT. As it goes up, it's going to go to 5 billion, 6 billion. He knows that he's not stupid. He cannot just change the rules just for DJT. He has to do it for all stocks. So I was trying to tell people, hey, go find your own game. I believe we found finger motion. Finger motion, we've been documenting for a couple of years already how big the short is. And William, like I said just now, Michael Burry from the Big Short said, I know I'm early, all right, but it will pay out. And that's exactly how I feel here. We've been early, we have suffered. And Michael Burry, who had a big bet, made $2.69 billion on the Big Short. All right. And I think that depending on who you are, what money you have, you could basically write your ticket here because I think that the stock is going to explode. All right. Now, William, I say it's 230 million shares. All right. That's my belief. I think it is bigger. If we just cut it in half, let's make it 50 million shares. You know what? That's too much. 25 million shares. You know what? Let's just make it 5 million shares just to make everyone feel a little better. They haven't covered one share yet. Do you know what 5 million shares buying this at the market's going to do to this stock? Just 5 million shares. Imagine what 230 is going to do. If you believe there's a short in the stock, based on everything we've been saying, pick a number. Make it 3 million shares. They haven't bought a share back yet. All right? 230 is going to be a bloodbath. All right? People are going to jail. Pat Byrne said it a few times. A couple thousand very rich people are going to get their ass kicked. That's how you clean it up. And I think that's what you're going to see. These big funds, these big guys offshore are going to get their asses kicked. A lot of them are going to walk away, William, and there's going to be people going to jail on this subject. It has to end. It's been going on 37 years. All right? And it's got to come. When they picked out, William, I think I told it to you many times, when they decided to pick on DJT, that was the golden goose for us because that tells me that it has to end. They just can't go after the president of the United States stock. It doesn't even make any sense. The whole thing is moronic. But, we're dealing with moronic crooks. Anyway, do you have anything to say, William?
No.
I told everyone before that the call from now on, we're going to.
One advantage of being a moron is you can do the same thing over and over again without any doubts.
Well, that's what they've been doing. But they stay too long to the game. You know what I think about that? These people trying to rob a bank, they're standing in the vault, and they think that they're going to get away with it. Now the police are coming and they're still standing here, and they can't get out now. The door's closed on them. Now what are you going to do? That's how stupid these guys are. I mean, there's probably been hundreds of thugs that ran away, stealing and destroying people's lives that have gotten away. But the ones that are trapped here now are basically, these guys have huge problems. And guys like Lynn Partners, we've been pretty adamant and out loud about them, exposing them for a while. And we'll continue until they fold, until they get caught. And that's when we'll walk away from this whole thing. Anything else, William, that you could think about at the top of your head?
Well, have you talked about MLS and...
Oh, no, I didn't say anything yet. MLSS,
you know what? Stocks.
MLSS got to 130, 127. I told you I sold 3,500 or whatever it was, 3,000 at the 126 last week. And I'm holding on for more. And, these stocks don't act like this. When companies have breakouts, good news, it's just amazing how they have always sold into, and they just get attacked down again. It's just remarkable. You know, that's what they did here. And, you know, they knocked it back down. So I have no problem. I'll wait for it. I'm long at $1.01, you know, no big deal. And what else I have? I have that GBUX, so that's great. You know, there's no selling it at all. They can't knock it down. The shorts are stuck here. I think the shorts, I lost track. I think it's around 400,000. This is a novice short. This is like some kid on a trading desk trying to play, and now he's roped himself in and trapped himself in this name. And, you know, if the company comes out, like they said, it's going to be a big play in 2026. Is that where we are? 2025? Excuse me, 2025. You know, that's what we've been hearing, that there's going to be a big play in 2025. With this guy short, I can see this thing. I'm not saying it's going to 100. I can see it going to $5, $6, $7 on a short squeeze here. Again, I'm not looking for a short squeeze. I was here for a fundamental play. But again, I would buy the dip on this one. And when it runs, you sell it. No big deal.
DJT is 42. So maybe you could talk about how you can still buy the dip and sell the rip. It's just from a different level, maybe.
Oh yeah, no, the numbers just changed. I had someone who sold it 39.50. I had them bidding 37.80. So that number has to change now. That's how it works. You got to move it up. So if you're still long and you make a sale up here, if you sold 542, you buy it back at 41.25. You do things like that. You drop it down 75 cents to $1. Listen, there's without a doubt someone is closing their position out. William, what I said before is that I believe that the lawyers for the criminals, these big law firms, are getting a tip from the SEC that they're coming. Our people don't. You guys don't understand this, but their lawyers are tipping off the hedge funds that it's coming. The lawyers for Jeff Easton and Buddy, they're the last to know. They'll get the call, but it'll be in motion already. Anyone short DJT, there's got to be a memo around the street. Something's going on for this. All of a sudden, a panic trying to cover here. This is very different. All right, so I think that there's something coming. I think the street starts to know that, stay away from this name. You're going to get roasted. And that's what I see going on here. Somebody knows that Trump is putting something in place to go after naked shorts. Trump can't come out and say his company is the greatest company in the world, go buy it. He can't do that.
Maybe.
But I know that
maybe he'll use DJT to buy Greenland. I'm just kidding. But
listen,
there could be a merger with X or some other M&A activity,
But I don't know about that. That's not my thing. I don't know what he's doing there. But I'm just saying, as far as naked shorts going, we know Devin Nunes. We know that Cam Bondi. We know that all these people are involved in the name. And if you watch Cash Patel, there was a video of him talking about going after anyone, any political person that has committed any fraud, whether it's in those January 6th things or insider trading. They're going after everyone.
Right.
Payback is a bitch here. So, you know what? Trump, even though Trump wants all that to be done, Nancy Pelosi, all these people trading on inside information, he wants his family to have money. And DJT, he's worth $6 billion, William. And 4 of that 6 was involved coming out of DJT. So the higher DJT goes, the easier, the faster the money he can make. And the easiest thing for him to do, all right, without looking that he's padding his pocket, okay, it's just force naked shorts to cover because he knows they're in here. Devin Nunes has the same reports that we were seeing for a while. All right, so it's just a matter of time, okay? And like I said, for those who think that Jeff Easton and the guys short finger motion are getting away because we're too small of a company, that's not happening. All right? We have 7 different angles into that whole network of people from Tom Ronk down, and we're not going away. So these guys can play the game. I think we got more political clout than some of these other names that are bigger companies. How's that? All right? Of course, they know who we are. They know that we've been fighting it. They know everything about us.
Do you want to make a guess, that's all it can be, of how DJT closes and how it opens up tomorrow. One guy's asking me if it'll gap open.
I think it's going to gap open. I agree with that. Listen, you've only got a few more days before Trump takes office. Somebody knows something. This is not normal what you're seeing here. This is a stock that's been getting shit on by everybody. And all of a sudden it's starting to gap back up higher and higher. So you may get a quick markdown, a quick attack, which I know people would buy the dip if it did happen. Okay, I would be buying the dip around 38. If they come after it, they come to knock it down. That's an important thing to see, is how they attack it. The attack down will tell you if it's going to gap tomorrow. I personally think it's just going to keep melting up. That's my own opinion.
And the problem, of course, is if you waited to buy calls, the premiums are screaming now. So calls are probably not a great way to go.
I've told everybody every day, go buy the stock, sell the stock, buy calls. People have been doing it. And for those who did it, you know what? When the calls double or triple, you sell half of them, and then you got the balance for free. I don't care if it's 10, 20, 100, whatever you bought. You sell half, and you got half for free. The longer you play the game for free, the better you are. Anything can happen in this world, so you got to be careful. Just keep making money. That's the most important thing, but yet be involved if you want to be involved. All right, but again, I look at it Single Motion as a small stock. Your risk, we've been saying it for a while, the risk is up. These attacks, the company raising money, these are little minor setbacks that, you know, should be adjusted back. The company has the money. The company raised the money at $1.50 above the price. There's no toxic debt here at all. It was a floor. That's what Martin said, the same thing. They wanted to do something to get away from any debt spiral financing. And that's why there's a floor. You want to buy it, you get a discount, you pay $1.50, end of subject. Now, if the stock takes off and those warrants that they gave the investors, and they want to do is convert them, the company will raise another $7 million. So the company would be self-funding when it goes. But the company has to perform. The CEO says they're excited about what's going on. And I expect that to be profitable. This company to be profitable in a couple of months. DJT is just starting out, right? Everyone keeps saying, oh, DJT, oh, it's a garbage company. Well, the company's just starting. Let them get their feet underneath them. They're working on, you know, technology things. They're working on content. You know, whatever they're doing, they're doing. You know, so I think that DJT is 100% a short squeeze that's getting out of control. The last time it went winning was to 57, remember? 57
didn't it go
was the last
much
time.
higher? Oh yeah, but didn't it go much higher all time?
Yeah, I'm talking about the last, since we were talking about it. It was 57, the last squeeze before it went down to 12, then turned, went to 57, pulled back down to 30, and that's where we've been digging in sideways for a while here. And now it's turning back up again.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're short that stock, trust me, you're in a panic.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's going to be 100. You don't know what's going to happen here. You know, where's it going to pull back to 35? So you're risking making $5 to the downside versus losing 100 to the upside. You got to be insane to be sitting here. I don't care if you're Ken Griffin, you're getting out of the way. And anybody who's standing here, I'm telling you, Ken Griffin, all these big players, one of these characters got to tip off that something's going down, and Trump is going to go after the naked shorts. And keep an eye around for other names that are popping out. Is Tesla doing anything with him? I don't even know.
Sorry about that. That's my dog.
Tesla, that's not doing anything. It's $3.93. You know, maybe you can find some cheap calls in that one, maybe worth a play, but those calls are too expensive.
The annual high is 468.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, that's the type of stock that everybody likes to come gunning for. Once it goes positive, or run up $10, $15 again. Listen, if they're going to start buying in shorts, you got to find stocks that you think are going to work. You know, if you can't afford it, you run around, you buy cheap calls and a lot of names, and hopefully they work out for you. I don't know all the names. Again, I can't recommend all those names. There's too many of them. But you know the ones that I follow. Anything else, William, you wanted to discuss?
Well, it's sort of nothing that has anything to do with our stocks, but I'm surprised the market's strong today, considering the devastation to insurance companies and real estate market in California.
I think that there's shorts covering. I think that's what's adding to the support of the market. So be careful about that.
Yeah.
A lot of times when people see stocks start turning up, like Goldman Sachs just went positive on the day, they start buying the bank stocks. And there's always something that leads to a market turnaround. So, with Interactive Brokers doing anything, that's down.
Maybe they think the Fed will start printing money to bail out Newsom. I don't know. Anyway, that's not that interesting.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but you got to be careful on those things because, there's different false positives here that what's taking the market up? We know there's a lot of devastation. What's taking it up? It's people covering their shorts. Listen, short sellers love when the market's crashing. That's when they love to buy because people are bailing out. That's how shorts cover.
Right.
If I'm short a stock at 80 and people are throwing it out the window at 50, and they know it's a company that's not going out of business, they sit there and they buy these things. So all of a sudden they go positive on the day. That's a short seller can only cover when someone sells it to them. When the market's strong, a lot of times there's no sellers, correct?
Yeah.
So it's hard to cover. But when the market's weak, that's when they try to cover. I used to do my best days covering shorts, get big orders, on the days when the market was its ugliest. I was getting buy orders. What were the buy orders? The buy orders were shorts trying to cover. And when I called my other clients up and say, hey, I got $1 million of this to buy, they were like, should I get long? I would sit there, it's just a short covering. I would let them know. The guy's short the stock and he's trying to cover. And he goes, but that's how hedge funds wanted to know. What was the color on the trade? The color was that there's a short trying to cover. What does that mean? I have no idea. Are there longs dumping it? That's what we were looking for. Look at this DJT. It's 46. It's 42 and a quarter now. It's just, this is a classic. Someone is trying to cover. This is a controlled short covering. When a short gets out of control, then you can go back and look at GameStop. Remember those days it was just running 2, 3, 4 points at a clip, 5, 10 points. These things start to run and then they sprint. And that's what I expect to see in finger motion shortly. That's it. Like I always tell people, if you don't want to buy the stock, I don't care. I would tell you to buy one share just for your kids so you can discuss it with them. I've always said that to you. Understand what a short squeeze is about. Never before in the history of the stock market have you got the president of the United States, his stock being naked shorted, and he's on the verge, I believe, of coming out with new rules to force the shorts to cover. If you force the shorts to cover, that means only one thing: stocks are going up. Never before has the SEC told you which way the stocks are going to go. They're telling you now. Never before with him. Because you never get there. They're like a referee. They never tell you anything, which way it's going. But now the SEC basically has to tell you they're going to go to the DTC. Something's going on behind the scenes to force this stock up today.
Yeah.
We've been watching it every day. We're getting closer to when Trump takes over, and here it is, the stock has exploded up $7. Why? Because he's going to be the president, and all of a sudden everybody woke up and said, oh, Donald Trump's going to be the president in another 8 days, whatever it is. We all knew that. Everyone on this phone call knew that Trump was going to be taken over in 20 days, whatever it was, January 20th, excuse me. Everyone knew that. So if you're late to the party, and because you wanted to buy it now, it's very dangerous because stock's up $7. Do you want to play stock up $7? It may run up 50, it may drop down 10. I have no idea. But when it was at 35 doing nothing, we said to buy it every day. You got to buy them when they don't want them and sell them when they do. And that's why I like finger motion. Even though it's down, we know it's down. We've been manipulated. We all got it. I don't need anybody to tell me anything different. In my opinion, a stock that gives you a chance to get in that has very limited downside. Don't get me wrong. We've been manipulated down from 2, 3, 4 down. We've been pushed down. But if we're right, the upside is hundreds of dollars. Hundreds. Not $4 up, not $3 up, hundreds up. And you say, that's never going to happen. Yeah, well, it happened in GameStop. It happened in VW. It happened in KOSS. AMC went from $1 to 75. You're telling me this stock can't go from where we are to 10 to 20? Really? And people who played AMC didn't even know that there was a big short in the stock. I didn't even follow AMC. Wasn't on my radar. Anything else, Liam? Listen, let me just tell you this. This is my opinion. I think we're close to a big gap in DJT. I think they're close to hearing the SEC finally come out, the new SEC chair coming out, say something about naked short selling. I think Pat Burns said it best. What do you need to fix this thing? 1,000 people, 1,000 very wealthy people are going to get their ass kicked. And I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think Trump gives a shit about those 1,000 people. And I think that Trump probably has told some of his friends that he is going to go after these people. And the people that are buying it are people that probably heard this conversation about naked shorts. Devin Nunes, everybody knows what's going on. So it's a good time. Unfortunately, we got in early. I got in way early. But we suffered, and now it's time for the cash out. That's the way I see it. You want to wait for when Trump comes out and actually tells you. And when Trump comes out and tells you that he's going to force the shorts to cover and clean up the naked shorts, Trump stock will be up $30, $40. Finger motion will be up $10, $15. GameStop will be up 2 or 3, whatever it may be. Whatever stocks are out there that you know of. It'd be you'd be jumping into a game that you don't want to do that. You want to get in before it happens. So like I said, pick your poison, whatever you want to get in, but the time is now to make your bets. 100% now is the time to make your bets. And that's how I feel. Don't wait for the horse to pass the finish line before trying to make a bet on it. The race will be over by then. Now you're trying to jump into a stock that's running like crazy. You don't know what you're going to pay for it. You don't know what's going to happen. It's too dangerous. The name of the game is to find something that isn't dangerous so you don't get your ass kicked. And I don't believe in panic buying. You know the numbers on finger motion. We're down from $4 or $5. We know we held in at 2 for a long time. We know the secondary is $1.50. The company has the money. You know everything that everyone knows. Everything's right there. You want to understand more about it, go watch William's video with the CEO. He just put it out a couple of days ago, William. What did you do? 3 days ago? I can't remember. 3, 4 days ago you did the video?
I don't remember that long ago.
You did it 3 days ago. And I just wanted to tell, I had 2 things I wanted to say. William, this guy, Dave Lauder, whatever his name is, I forgot his name. I think that's his name. He posted a video today with Mr. Shapiro. Mr. Shapiro worked for Clinton. He was in the Clinton administration. Well, I met Mr. Shapiro a long time ago, and I was at an important event with him. Very nice guy. Didn't realize how big the damage was on naked short selling. And when he left me, he understood it, way more than he did before. But he was hired by West Christian as a consultant or an expert in the field. The same as Susan Trimbett. That was with both of them. Great guy. And he actually gave an interview to this guy, Dave Lauder. It's on Twitter. And he said that the SEC is afraid of short squeezes. That's what they're deathly afraid of. That's why Reg Show didn't work or left loopholes in here, because they're afraid of short squeezes. And, this guy, David Lauder, was laughing and giggling and doing this report. I'm like looking at this guy. he's supposed to be someone, he wants to be someone that's in the forefront or someone in the middle discussing about the SEC with all of us. And, I don't know whether he's looking for clicks or whatever the hell he's trying to do. But I blasted him. I says, I'm not here to have this guy laughing. There's people that have lost their homes. Look at the MMTO people. People got GameStop got ripped off. Everyone's got ripped off. And this guy's sitting here laughing like it's a joke. This is a serious matter. We want it settled. We want to get our money. And we want those people to go to jail who robbed us. And I don't appreciate this guy treating it like that. I don't know what he's trying to be. It seems like he's trying to weasel his way into the middle of this whole thing to get a medal. He thinks that at the end of the day, you're going to get a medal, and that Dave Lauder is going, whatever his name is going to get the medal of being the best citizen in the world for helping fight for naked short selling. He's nothing but a buffoon to me. Guy's a joke, laughing. Oh, the SEC. I don't want to hear that. He should be saying exactly what I'm saying. Anyone who's done it belongs in jail. It's RICO charges. Throw them in jail, take every asset from them. They're complete criminals, all of them. And they've been doing it for 37 years. That's what he should be saying. Instead of treating it like, go watch this video. You'll get off the thing. If you don't feel the same way I do after that, I watched the thing and I'm like, this guy's like, what is this guy, a joke? I don't appreciate him. And I have no interest even following him anymore. It's a disgrace what he did. Mr. Shapiro gets it. He doesn't have the clout to make a change, but he understands it. He understands the economics behind it. He knows there's been thousands of companies that have been wiped out. He gets it. He understands it. So again, that was it was serious on Shapiro's side, but this other guy, as someone trying to become I guess he's trying to become a hero or something. I don't know what he's trying to become. Or why would he even have the video call with Shapiro? He said he knows people at the SEC. He knows his friend, whatever. He's bragging about all this bullshit. And to me, it's a waste of time. This is at the point now where we're angry. If you're not angry about this, you're an idiot. These guys have been just basically robbing and looting, stealing from your kids, your grandkids. They could care less. If you're not pissed off about it, you should be. Because you can't make a living doing this anymore. MLSS is a classic example of it. The company does an epidural shot that helps your wife. Anyone who needs a spinal injection, that's what these guys do. And they got the best in the world. And the stock can't even go up and stay up for 10 minutes. That's what's wrong with Wall Street, because that's not normally what happens. Goldman Sachs is not the only stock that goes up every day. Other stocks go up. But MLSS, for example, went up to $1.30 and they knocked it back down to $1.10. That's not normal. And William could tell you that, because as a broker that built positions, stocks like this would continue to move higher.
I was a wealth advisor.
A wealth advisor. I was just a jerk on a block trading desk. That's all I was. But we were fast-paced, moving. I never followed stocks like I do this closely now. Back then, I was in 50 different names every day. It was a different name. And that's what I loved about Wall Street the best, is that every day was a new name, a new stock, a new story. And, I never really followed companies. Now I'm following them, and I could just see the patterns. These stocks, they all trade. It's insane. They go up for 10 minutes and they go straight back down. When the stock goes up on a day on great news and then closes in the red, those are short sellers trying to abuse the investors, trying to get them. They want you to think that it's a negative. And that's what they did in Fingermotion. Fingermotion, they tried to turn it into a negative. They tried to turn that into a negative, where people were trying to, the stock came out with great news to raise the money, and they were trying to knock it down. It's just awful. And the CEO came out, thank God he came out and he clarified the whole thing for us. They're using it for growth, profitability, to drive revenue, everything. And the CEO told you the floor on the stock's $1.50, and yet who's selling it at $1.16 every day? They never stop selling. But you made the point, they just keep selling, right?
Well, it's not the most genius point of all. That's just what they do.
Right. They
just
just
keep
keep
selling.
selling and selling and selling.
But they do it.
and
I
they-
think they do it across any stock under $5 because there's no natural buyers. There's no consequence. And so they see a stock pop up, they sell, take a stab at it, sell it as a, average up. And eventually the buying stops and then they just flood it on the way down and they're profitable. It's the
Right,
best.
that's all.
It's the best scheme out there. I don't know why P. Diddy got into prostitution. I don't know why Escobar got into illegal drugs. I mean, this is the way to go. If you want to make outsized gains illegally, just abuse the over-the-counter and the NASDAQ markets.
Right.
No
And
one
the
cares.
financial system will let you rob it, do whatever you like, all the free money you can stand. That's exactly what's going on.
Collude, as long as your buddies won't tattletale on you, just make sure you have a tight group of friends, or culturally you're tight, whatever that means in your case, and go to town. No
Right.
one's going
Yeah.
after you. No one's
Yeah,
going to
like Jeff.
force it. No one.
Right. All right. Look at Jeff Easton and Phil Lavaliere. They're bragging. Oh, we do everything. We help fund companies. We love this company. We love that company. Those guys have invested in every company they invested goes straight down. I put
One
up a
of the
story
stocks, I forget which one, it might have been Vocal, but whatever, on Twitter, the guys were saying, let's have some fun. Let's take money from retail. I'm paraphrasing. But to them, it's just it's bullying. They never lose. And I'm sure they have big hedge funds like Steve Cohen's, somebody like that, backing them with
Let me give
lawyers.
Let me give you my 2 cents on Stevie Cohen.
Yeah.
When I gathered, Stevie Cohen fronted guys that were naked short sellers.
Really?
Okay. You went to him, you borrow, Stevie Cohen would give you $20 million and you go out and you start performing. If you lose a certain percentage, you're out. He shut you down. But he never followed what you were doing. At the end of the day, you made 10 million, he got 5, you got 5, or he got 60, you got 40, whatever the number was. At a point, I think he probably had 50 people doing this.
And did he pay for the lawyers that they used and the documents?
I'm sure he paid. He was like a day trading firm.
And the training, he probably paid for the training at arm's length.
I don't remember him ever naked shorting. I've seen a lot of, I've been around him a lot. The talking was never, I don't remember ever saying naked short selling.
So he just heard of the scheme and
I think there's a group of people that came to him who had the scheme and they just needed the money and he just backed them. And he got a percentage for what he did. Because when the shit hit the fan, he paid the government, all those people were shut down, they were all gone. He didn't do that anymore because he had no controls over what anybody was doing. He was supposed to be monitoring them, what they were doing, and no one followed them. It was like the Wild West.
Failure to supervise?
No one supervised, right? And that's exactly what he got busted on. He wasn't supervising this whole thing, so he shut the whole thing down. He paid his fine, and it was all shut down.
A man of integrity.
These other guys all became shoot-offs of that, and they all probably made money with Stevie Cohen, and they started their own firms. Mm-hmm. I got 50. Listen, if you're stealing 10 million a month and you get 4 million of it, in 10 months you got 40 million in the bank. Now you start becoming Jeff Easton, right?
And you can pay for a lot of attorneys, and
that's what they did.
A lot of IR guys and a lot of CEOs.
Right. They get the capybaras, they get the Hindenburgs, they get the Andrew Left to start writing the stories. And as you can see, once you go from a Stevie Cohen down to the next level, it's the Wild West. Completely Wild West. These guys were doing anything. And again, I've been around some big hedge fund guys, and you know what? They gambled a lot, but I never remember them paying for stories. I've never seen that. I've never seen that at all.
So
and the bear rate stories, I never really seen the bear rate stories. I'm not standing up for them, but I've never seen it.
So
never heard of it, I didn't see
do
it.
you want to hype ZJYL? I know you're a hypester on ZJYL. Can you do some
Yes, I want to
hyping?
hype. I have no idea where is it. Where is it? I don't even know where it is. I told you I have friends that
It's
invest
just
in a lot
a
of money in
Chinese
Egypt.
company that sells some piece of crap into the market.
Right.
I mean,
Listen, I told you I have friends that own ZJYL and GDC. The ZJYL, it has my interest because they did a 20-for-1 forward split. So for the moron that wants to know about it, that's what they did. That's very interesting. GDC, we all got a chance to buy it. It went down to 58 cents. I told you we did it. And when it squeezed back up, William, what did I say to
you
do?
sold, you got the hell out.
I said, what's that mean? That's the easy money.
Yeah.
The hard money is when it starts to drop back down, whether you want to get back in. I know professional people were buying it down from 5 back down after the run to 12. Now, those people who, when it ran to 12, they probably made $7, $8 a share. Okay. I didn't make $7 or $8 a share, so I wasn't putting it back in. But these are big players, and that's what they do. They buy these dips. They may go underwater on it again, but they could probably buy more at the low. I didn't want to do that. ZJYL, I'm watching. And if anyone ever calls me and tells me it's ready to go again or gives me a high sign on it, I'll tell you, but I haven't heard anything
It's up
about
11 cents.
it. Where is it? Is it $1 yet?
It's up 13 cents, 93.97. Thank
listen,
God that person didn't have to pay 94. He paid
Right.
93.97. He saved
Right.
0.0003 cents per share. Thank God for Kenny whatever, Griffin.
So
God.
DJT is now 42.57. What was the high? 42.70, almost $43.
Yeah.
Every day we've been talking about. Every day we.
It's almost like people took last week off too, and now they're back to the market today. There's some activity. Right. The Dow's at 329, which it's probably a narrow rally, I'm guessing.
I'm sure it is. ZJYL, look at the other one, TELO's got a big short in it. Listen, people, go throw a dart, find whatever the hell you want to go play. I'm not going to recap every naked short position. I'm focused on one. I believe one is going to change my life. I don't need 50 of them to do it. I got a couple of small positions, but I'm focused on finger motion. I've been studying it for years now, and I think that we got the right one. We know who the short is, we know how big the short is, and we're going to monitor it. For example, I think it was Big JR posted to me, or I can't remember the guy's name who posted on Twitter. The real short position was not lowered. It was basically about the same, 1,300,000. And I expected that to be wiped out with the secondary, but they're still here. I really believe, William, that they're going to wipe that real short position out in the next report. And you say, why did they wait? Because if they did it too close on this report, we would all bust them for it and they would get in trouble for it. Do you understand?
Right.
So I think the next report on the real short interest, I think that's when that number will disappear. I think that they're still short. They'll cross it over saying that we bought stock and they move it over and wipe out that position. And this way people can sit there and say, well, they didn't cover on the secondary, right?
Right.
But they're going to wait another couple of weeks, and that's when it disappears. That's what I believe is going to happen there. And I wanted to address that. So the finger motion real short at 1,360,000, which I thought would disappear when they did the secondary. All right. I think that the next report, that number will disappear. I do believe that they covered on the secondary. They may be long the stock and they're going to basically white it out shortly. They'll cross it over to each other. They'll take their position from one account and send it over. That's what I think is going to happen there. Because it's too obvious what they did otherwise. So I think that's what I think you're going to see that there. And if someone just texts me, what about GameStop? Listen, GameStop had squeezes galore. How many more do you want out of it? go find something that hasn't squeezed yet. I don't think people are chasing GameStop because I think people know it's, it's the company's been selling shares
Well,
for a long
that's-
time.
I think that's one thing. I know, unfortunately, I had to learn it. But the one thing to learn over this period of time is that as these stocks, even though you think they're going to go to the moon, as they rally, like GameStop went to last year, your daughter got out at 75 or 81 or something.
60, yeah, she made like $30 or something in it, yeah.
But they run to 86, get some money off or take it all off. Have the courage to sell and buy it back when it goes down. But if you're just waiting for it to go to 1,000, it never did, and maybe it never will. So you just have to take money off as they rally. The system is bigger, better armed. They've got all the tricks. They've got unlimited selling power. Take money off the table when you get the chance. That's what I learned for myself. I don't know what you guys need to learn.
Well, listen, again, there's times you let them go, times you don't. But the one thing I've always advised everyone to do
in every season,
when they
turn.
When they go, the most important thing in this game is not to have most of your money still on the table. Listen, when you play roulette and you put your chips down, when they start, they say no more bets. You can't touch your chips. It goes. That's it. You win or lose on that roll. You don't want to get to that point. The one thing about the stock market, you can always take money off the table as it goes. So if I bought DJT at 35 and I bought 1,000 shares, I would have sold some at 39. I would have sold some at 41, and I would sell some on the close. Let's say I sold 600, I would have 400 shares left. And if I want to let it go, that's my decision. I would let it go. But I already made profit and took off all my money off the table. That's how you play the game. If you want to be a pig and roll the dice and grab every share in the world, that's up to you. All right? But when you make that big bet and the stock starts to run, don't be a pig. Take some off the table. It doesn't hurt. And you never go broke when you're doing that. I hear it. Well, listen, you want to get rich. That's the hard thing to do.
What people have to face for themselves. I face it for I'll just talk about me. What I was thinking 2.5 years ago about how these would work, and all that is different than it is now. Why? Because of experience and because of more knowledge, I guess. But it doesn't mean it won't happen. But if you're chasing the big riches, number one, you're taking risk. Number two, you put in the time. That's our arbitrage. Our arbitrage is time. And anyway, this isn't buying a CD. I wouldn't recommend buying a CD right now.
Right. I mean, that's not for me. I'm here. Again, like I told you, I have friends that paid up to $10 for finger motion. We're not going away. We all know the story. We all know the scam. We all know that Link Partners went into a CEO's office. The CEO went into his office and he told him point blank, I'm not shorting your stock. Every stock they're involved with goes straight down. I put up a story this morning, William, about Stevie Cohen being up 19%. And he distributed $5 billion in profit to his investors.
There's two things about Stevie Cohen, and I read the book, Black Ice, I think. That guy was a schlub, and somehow he kept winning trade after trade after trade. My opinion, that guy trades on inside information, and he cheats. But anyway, as he gets the record, he can bring in money and charge 2%, 20% or better, and he gets rich, and he can buy one soda.
Well, you are correct that he dealt with inside information. That is correct. Everybody knows that. But I'm trying to say he is up 19%, and he distributed $5 billion to his investors. Jeff Easton's up 220%. And every stock that he invests in goes straight down. Does anyone think that's not strange yet? that this guy, everything he invests in is worthless, yet he's up 220%. Yet Stevie Cohen is one of the best money managers around, hedge funds around. It's up 19%.
Is that where the short profits are going?
That's to show you where the money, how they make it. This guy makes money by selling stocks, make it short. That's how he makes his money. There's not even a question about it.
So Yahoo shows earnings date for Finger January 14th through January 20th. Joe wants to know, is Finger earnings tomorrow? The window of Finger's projected possible earnings by Yahoo Finance tomorrow, January 15th through Monday, January 20th, which I think is a day off for Martin Luther King birthday.
Right.
So I would guess January 21 would be more accurate. So that you got to wait and find out. Nobody knows for sure.
Hold on 1 second, William. The word has to be on the street. The naked shorts. Hold on 1 second. I just put DJT. The word has to be out on the street. The naked shorts will be forced to cover. That's it. It's a word. That has to be what's going on here, because there's no reason for this stock to happen, for this to happen just, a few days before he becomes president, to have this sort of movement in the stock. And I'm just laughing, William. Finger motion. Someone just buys 2,500 at 115, another 2,600 comes in. It's the same pattern back and forth. But they're going to get theirs. We're not going away. The dividends coming. The CEO told us, again, I'm not waiting for President Trump. We want to make sure that these guys get roasted no matter which way it's going to happen. We're going to keep coming at them.
So somebody Benjamin Shamil is asking, what's the best finger motion call to buy? I'm going to quickly answer. I think just buying the stock is your best call to buy.
The stock is an option. The stock is an option.
But
it doesn't expire. It's $1.15. If you wanted to play, you buy the February calls. The threes are 8 cents. Not even. They're a nickel, I think. I'm not even sure. What are the February 3 calls trading at?
Well, I show last price 0.05. I see no bid. So if you paid 0.05, you can't sell them. Your money.
So if you bought the stock right, listen, all you're doing is rolling the dice. If you bought 1,000 shares of stock and you sold it up 5 cents, you could buy those calls for free and don't worry about it. If you're lucky enough to buy the stock to do that.
See, I would, oh, my dog, I'm sorry about that. If you're really hyped up on calls, what I might do, which Ham's going to say, just buy the shorter ones and you can do it again. But I would look at the $1 strike price. The Mays you could probably buy for 35 cents. The Februaries you can buy for 25 cents. I'd just go out to May, and if it starts to move, sell those for your profit and buy the cheap calls then. Take your profit off.
Wait, let me just explain that to you. The cheap calls versus the calls you just said.
Yeah.
Let's say you buy 100 calls of the 35-cent ones, the dollar ones. You pay $3,500, you buy 100 calls at 30 cents.
Yeah.
If the stock goes to 10 minus 1, you make $9. You make $90,000, right?
Yeah.
For $3,000.
Yeah.
If you were to buy the $3 calls, okay, 100 of them for a nickel,
yeah,
it would cost you $500 versus $3,000. If the stock goes to 10, you're going to make $70,000 versus $90,000, and you're risking nothing. You're risking $500.
But the countervailing argument is those are worthless as soon as you buy them, and they could stay that way.
Listen, the stock is going to be stuck in the mud until these shorts start covering, or when the company does its business, right? Either one, or the company does the dividend.
Yeah.
All right. So if you believe that the government's going to step in and expose these shorts, then the opportunity of a lifetime is in those cheap calls. If you believe the companies, the special dividends, going to expose the shorts, I do believe it. Okay. I think that again, once we know the date of that, that's when you can trade
My
those
my
options.
question is though, why would you buy 30 cents worth of an immediately expiring asset or 5 cents worth when you can buy $1 of the stock that doesn't expire? And then you can
listen, the best thing to do is buy the stock.
someday you can just sell calls against it. Let's say it runs to 10. You start being a call seller instead of a call buyer. Anyway.
Well, I'm an option junkie, and if I was active, I would have 5,000 of the calls, because if I believe it's going to work, and if I was active again, that's what I'd be doing, because I'd be trading other names, and I would be getting out of names, and just to make a nickel, I can go buy those calls.
And I mean, a good example of that, although I don't do it, so I can't give you the numbers, but DJT was flat. It ran up. Everybody's excited. Then it pulled back. A few people listened to him, buy the dip, sell the rip. Now it's running. I bet you could have bought January calls, February calls for a diminutive price, and now they have huge profits. So that's the just confirming your strategy.
That's how I like to do it. If you did that at 35, you could have bought the 40s, 45. Those options are exploding. The 40s probably went from 30 cents to $4 now, $5. Yeah. I mean, so you could see that, putting up small money to make big money. That's why I played. Listen, there's always risk. We all know that. But you always want to learn. If you're in the game, you want to learn how to make big money with small money. That's
the only guaranteed money out there is if you know a market maker and you have the back ending of Stevie Cohen, you can sell stock forever and ever that doesn't exist. And that's the only guarantee. And then you can be smug. You can be smug.
That game is coming to an end. That game. Listen, I used to watch short sellers.
Wow, DJT's almost 43.
Mm-hmm. I used to watch short sellers, William, and I watched them faint. They sell 1.5 million shares of stock, and they can't stop the upside momentum. This is before the naked short selling scam came into effect. And they used to turn, and the stock used to run, and they didn't average up for a long time. They used to let it go. I'm like, what do we do? I watch guys cover. In this world, though, they hold them down, and they don't let them go up. They don't sell 1 million. They'll sell 10 million to stop the upside momentum. It's very different. It's a completely different game now. This loophole where they can keep flooding the market with shares has to end. And I believe it is. This DJT is telling you it's going to end. It's right there in front of you. It's right there in front of you. And the finger motion went from $1.50 to $6. Okay, right now, let's say it runs to $6. You sit there and say, what do I do now? What do I do now? Imagine if we were right and it goes to 2,000 right behind that. You look for a sign on Wall Street, and the sign on Wall Street is right now is DJT of 43.12, William. There's your sign.
I look for signs on the highway.
Well, the biggest sign, the biggest green light is right there in DJT. That's not longs buying the stock at 43.23. This is a short seller trying to cover. 100%. No, it's very difficult for a long to start chasing stocks unless they know someone is trying to cover, like they did in GameStop. They knew that somebody was trying to cover. Someone is trying to cover here, and that's why the stock is up 7. And once it spreads out, other names will start to take off. That's just the way. That's just how the game is. It's always like that. If one food stock gets taken over, guess what? All the other food stocks go up. Am I correct, William?
If Netscape goes up on the IPO, everyone wants the next IPO that does the same thing.
Exactly the same pattern all the time. Our example, I remember when the video was going, all the other ones were going up, Micron, all this one, all these stocks were taking off based on another stock. Well, listen, William, it's 3:36. Everyone can see what's going on. If you're not paying attention, I can't help you anymore. You make your own decision. My opinion is, I believe we have golden finger motion. The CEO's on our team. The company's funded, which I'm not thrilled about, but they got their money now. So the company's ready to go. Who's holding it down here is someone who doesn't want any momentum, because once the momentum starts, look what happens to DJT. All right. Once the momentum starts, you can't stop it. All right. These guys have margin problems, and that's why they can't let it go up. But it's going to turn. They can't hold it down. The company's fundamentals are going to win out at the end. And for the gentleman who asked about ZJYL, it is now 92 to 92, whatever. It's up 11 cents, whatever it is. GDC is not doing anything, 23,000 shares. See, I'm a believer in buying them when they don't want them. That's how I believe it. For example, like the GBUX, I'm buying it. No one's paying attention to it. And, the stock took off and pulled back a little bit. You know what? No one even knew about it. I told you guys when I heard, right? I told everyone in the beginning when I paid for it. I said I paid 75 cents for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was going on. No one knew anything about it. And, that's how I get into things. I like to buy them when no one's paying attention to them. When the people come for it, I make my determination if I want to sell it or not. All right, William, I know you got to take your dog to your vet. Go take your dog to the vet, and I'll touch base with you tonight. But people, everything I know. Just follow DJT. Donald Trump is telling you he's coming for them.
Okay.
All right, William, have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Call ended.
All right. I have to get my dog to the vet. I have my operation. I forget who asked me. NORAD, I think, did on Wednesday. Once I have my operation, I can't bend over, nor can I pick up 25 pounds or heavier, which one would ask, can you do that now? But I can't do it then at risk of having my lens pop out. So I have to decide what to do with my dog. So we're going to go to the vet today. I'm going to see if I can get some guidance about how much longer he can live. Anyway, that's all ahead of me in 20 minutes. But let's go through some of this. But guys, I'm not going to answer your questions, Gary. I'm not going to answer any questions on GTII. Go listen to Richard Hoffman. I just don't want to go through it again. GTII is now in the hands of a receiver who gets 5% of any dollars they recover, 5% of any stock they recover. They're recovering over 200 million shares. So that means the receiver is going to get, and I'm doing it from my memory about what I read, the receiver alone will get 10 million shares or more of GTII. You put up your money, you're not going to get jack shit. The receiver will get 10 million shares for 90 days work. If you think that's a stock situation you want to be in it. I think once stocks go into legal morass, shareholders get nothing. But keep hoping, keep bringing it up, keep asking about it. You're not going to get anything without putting up more money. I'll go through it with you. For the brain dead. The brain dead. Damn it, I have to waste time on GTII. GTII went from 9 cents to $9. The criminals got it back down by bribing 3 guys. And Alpine and lawsuit and all that. Now it doesn't trade. What's going to happen? Any update on GTII? Yeah, here's your update. It's in receivership. It's in receivership. That's Johnny Law. That's no longer a financial instrument. It is no longer a financial instrument. It's in court. The receiver gets 4.99% of the cash recovered. The receiver gets 4.99% of the stock recovered per filing. That will never be disclosed to you because it's under the disclosing report. So the receiver, if he recovers 50 million in cash, he gets $5 million. You get fuck all. If the receiver pulls back 300 million shares, he gets 5% of that. 15 million shares, you get fuck all. This is a game for the receiver, the lawyers, and the court. I don't know what the judge gets. I bet she gets something. But anyway, so whatever the value is, 10% comes off the top. Now, it won't be exactly 10%. If the cash recovered is more than the stock, it'll average out at less than 10%. But if both these numbers have the similar value, 10% comes off minimum for the receiver. Then you got to pay the judge, you got to pay the lawyers. I don't know how much that's going to cost. All right. Then let's say you bring in let's say now you're down to 250 million shares. Damn it. Let's say you have 250 million shares outstanding of this piece of crap GTII that I have to answer about all the time. All right, you have 250 million shares outstanding. Well, I heard a company's going to come in and it's going to be a winner again. All right, let's assume a company comes in. What kind of company? Let's say it is a what's popular now? Let's say it's a, should I say it's a media company, an AI company? Let's say it's a combo. Let's say it's both a media company and an AI company is going to merge into GTII. Now, ask yourself, Gary, are they going to do it to make you money? No, they're not. So let's say they leave us with 10% of the company. Maybe it's 15%. Maybe we get 5%. Let's just go with 10%. That means there'll be 2.5 billion shares outstanding. Billion. And the receiver will own probably a very small amount, 15, 20 million shares, but a lot more than you will of this company. Now, what else does the receiver work out? Does the receiver work with the shorts? Only you can answer that. I have no idea, but somehow everything aligns and they decide that 2.5 billion shares is a that's Australian stock. So we do a 1-for-100 reverse split, bailing the hell out of the shorts. No squeeze. But I don't know, Gary, you left that thinking aspect of your brain somewhere else. I'm not picking on you. It just frustrates me so much that these guys have a winning strategy and they bring the lawyer and these people in and they work it out to bail out the bloody shorts. But then the Kramers wear their silk shirts, smoke their cigar, walk around like John Gotti. Hey, you shouldn't have shorted it anyway. All right, so if we have 10% of the company, what if the person putting up the money asks for something for his capital? Will it come out of our 10% or out of the new company's 90%? To be determined. It might be both. So maybe we end up at the end of and then they do a reverse split and they do a financing, which further helps out the criminals. Maybe we end up with 2.5% of NewCo. How are you ever going to make your money back in GTII? Asking me, is there any news on GTII? It is a dead parrot. You can go listen to the receiver. You can go listen to the Avenging Angel, Richard Kaufman, who I'm sure is doing it for free. Not. And you can go listen to whatever you want to listen to. That stock is not getting up and singing again. The only reason it's on the perch is because you nailed him there. The stock is an ex-parrot. Do I have to talk about it anymore? So what's going to happen with GTII? The best thing that can happen is if all this works out for the whale, for the receiver, and for the new company, is if they give you an opportunity to put more money up. But there won't be a short squeeze. The criminals won. I don't know if the receiver, I have no basis to believe that the receiver works with the shorts. I know the receiver personally. I think he's honest. I think he's hardworking. I think he knows what he's doing. But does that mean that he's working in a world that the shorts don't control? No. No, the shorts control it. Anybody buying the shell is going to reverse split. It's the final coup de grace. GTII is finished. That trade gave us a chance to get out. I didn't get out. I did not get out at those massive numbers. I also didn't pay 9 cents either, but huge returns. I thought it was going to squeeze, and I didn't, unfortunately. But am I going to continue to lie to myself? Oh, GTII, what's going to happen? A lawyer's going to save me? How the hell is a lawyer going to save you in a financial investment? Unless you're the creditor. If you're a bondholder, if you're a debtor, you're going to get your money back. But as a shareholder, there's better gambles to make. Anyway, unfortunately, whoever asked me about GTII gets the final word for my day. I have to take my dog to the vet right now. I may have to put him to sleep. I'm trying to see if he can live a few more months. And that's more important to me than answering questions about GTII. I love all of you here that are here for real reasons. These idiots come on. I don't know if they're real people or just dumb people, but you've got to be honest with yourself when you're in the stock market. Otherwise, you're going to lose everything. And I know how much it hurts. I lost everything in GTII and Vocal and options and the sellout on Finger. I can say, oh, it's Ham's fault. Oh, it's the CEO's fault. The system isn't fair, but these are vanishing assets. These assets, GTII, MULN, MMAT, the whole list goes on and on and on, KNW, they're all vanishing because the markets are rigged for Stevie Cohen and the boys out of Burroughs Park, and then the offshore people. And they own Gary Gensler, they own Ann Wagner, they own the whole bloody, they own the cops, they own the playing board, they own the cards, they own the dice. They own it all. And if you want to believe that anyone cares how much money you lose and there's fairness out there, you're more naive than I am. GTII is finished. You may get a chance to add more money to it. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it at all. All right, on that, I'm going to go. I've got to go take my dog in. So thanks for joining.